Yes lads, we're back again with another video, and today we're going to be taking a look at my first ever MMA fight. Now, to kick things off, how did I start in my MMA journey? Well, we're going to have to go all the way back to when I first started at university. I'd actually never been to the gym until I turned 18 and I went to university. One of my good friends put me onto the gym, shout out Max, and yeah, I was hooked on it straight away from the get-go, and I wanted to be a bodybuilder. I was absolutely loving everything about the lifestyle. Getting jacked, you know, still got a bit of muscle there, not as much as I previously had. But yeah, it was a great experience to actually put myself through everything that it takes to be essentially, or trying to be a bodybuilder, a lot of discipline and a lot of other skills that I learned on the journey. Now, at my peak, I was 6 foot and 96 kilograms. I'm going to throw a picture up on the screen of how bolo I was, because it was pretty mad, to be fair. One thing that I'll say to a lot of people that are trying to get into bodybuilding, right, is that, like, you know, a lot of you are doing it so you can be more physically imposing, so you can, you know, demand more space in a room. I'll tell you something, right? You tell someone that you've had an MMA fight and, you know, you've won that fight, or you've even just stepped in the octagon or the ring, you're going to get a lot more for bang for your buck, so to say, if you were just going to bang gym and do nothing else. Now, one of the key main pillars of masculinity is the ability to protect oneself and others. You know, think about it, guys. If you can't even walk down the street without, you know, being scared of what X, Y, Z could happen, then how are you ever going to be able to achieve all your other goals out there if you can't even just be comfortable in your own skin? And secondly, it's a man's job to be able to protect everyone else around him. So that's going to be your wife, your children, your mother, even your younger siblings. And again, if you don't know how to fight, how can you even provide that comforting feeling for your family? I mean, especially women, right? One of the number one things that women need to feel when they're with you is safe and comfortable. That's how you really get the feminine energy to open up, is that when she's in an environment where it feels safe to do so. If she knows she's protected by you, then she's going to open up and you're going to get the most out of your woman as well. Now, my routine while I was fighting and leading up to my fight, again, I only had a 3-week camp, and I'll explain why that happened a bit further on. But it was cardio in the morning, like 8 a.m. So I do about 18 kilometers an hour on the treadmill, which, if you don't know, that's basically sprinting full speed. Oh, well, probably about 80% sprinting. I do that for 3 minutes, 1 minute rest, walking, 3 minutes, 1 minute rest, walking, 3 minutes, 1 minute rest, walking, 3 minutes, 1 minute rest, walking. And that was just to mimic my rounds that I'd be having in my fight, okay? I then had a private session at midday with my private tutor, and then I'd go to the gym at night, around about 8, 9 p.m, have a group session, and then sparring straight after. And basically what I'm trying to get across to you guys, train like a pro to perform like a pro. Now, I'm not in any way saying I did perform like a pro, and again, we're going to see my fight in a second, but on the night, my performance compared to my opponent was so much better, even though he was way, way, way more advanced than me. And again, it was because I trained hard, so the fight was easy. So how did my fight actually come about? Now, I'd only actually been doing MMA for 6 weeks when an event was announced at my gym. My sort of mindset was, I knew that if I got on my side, nothing could go wrong, because every lesson is, you know, a blessing. Alhamdulillah, as we say. So yeah, even if I lost, even if I won, whatever happened, it's alhamdulillah every time. So I was pretty gassed. You know, I've got 6 weeks now to get locked in. And then my next training session, pulled my rotator cuff during Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I was on top of some guy, pretty experienced guy, or it was more like grappling, to be fair, and he couldn't get me off. He did like something that was, you know, slightly a bit aggressive and probably over the top for a training or light sparring session. And yeah, I pulled my rotator cuff, and it just wasn't good, guys. Couldn't even move anything, couldn't even throw punches, hurt to swim. So that meant I couldn't do any training for 3 weeks, not even cardio, because just running like this would hurt the shoulder too much. So I've been out for 3 weeks, not done a single thing, and I just thought, right, I've got 3 weeks now until the fight. Again, this is my last chance, so I had to go down to the gym and sort of see if I can make it through the session. Now, as soon as I walk into the gym, they stick it on me straight away. They tell me they've got my opponent announced, and I basically got 3 weeks to get fighting ready. Even though my shoulder's still injured, they basically were just like, look, let's try a session today and we'll see how it goes. So first week back at training, I could only go like 60%. So, you know, bearing in mind I've only got a 3-week camp, and the first week I can only go 60% due to my injury in my shoulder. So you know, we're kind of now the last 2 weeks out. And the last 2 weeks out, this is when, you know, I start to use the shoulder again, and I'm back to my best. I'm following my best routine again of, you know, cardio in the morning, private session, and then finally was doing the group session and the sparring at night. Now, about 2 weeks out, I actually find out my opponent who I'm going to be fighting is from the same exact apartment block as me. Now, we start to face each other in a couple of training sessions as well as the fight's getting closer. And yeah, it was very good, to be fair. You know, we only did a couple, when I say sparring drills, it was more like grappling sparring. And yeah, that was about it. I mean, things did get a bit heated a couple of times because we wanted to show each other, you know, we could do this. But in the back of my mind, I always knew, and I'm not going to go 100% anytime I did face him. It would just be 80% because I'm not trying to, you know, play all my cards. Now, 7 days out, this is my last week of prep. So I've got people at my apartment block helping me train. LT, that's Latalo Muhammad. He was a silver medalist for Team GB in karate. Absolute G, shout out LT. We've got Adam as well, Mahab, Jack Eli, Bailey James, all my boys. I had to put the names in there because this was one of the biggest things I've ever done in my life, right? So I just had to shout out these guys. Money Mason as well, shout out here. Yeah, some top G's that were just really, really on job at getting me perfected, man. It was amazing to see. And yeah, I was manifesting and visualizing daily, and as well, obviously, as I should be, doing my 5 prayers a day as a Muslim, and that was incredible as well. Now, another thing that did happen, I actually fell incredibly ill around about 10 days before the fight. And if you know, if you're a Muslim, or if you don't know, one of the things you've got to do every time before you pray is called an ablution. It's called wudu. Now, one of the steps of wudu is you've got to clean your nose out. So, you know, you'll cup the water in your hand and you go and sniff the water up. Now, what that does is it clears out all your sinuses. And I genuinely feel like if I wasn't doing that 5 times per day for when I was getting ready to pray, I would have been way more bunged up and way more blocked up, and my airways wouldn't have been as good as it was. So, you know, in a way, I kind of see it as like being a Muslim basically helped me win the fight, because if I wasn't doing my ablution and getting clean, ready for my prayer, then I wouldn't have been cleaning out all this illness and all this gunk that was, you know, slowing me down a bit. And just while we're on the whole topic of, you know, meditation and getting God on your side and all these things, guys, this was exactly 24 hours before my fight. If you take a look here, 8th of December on the Friday, exactly 24 hours before my fight, I was fighting at 5 p.m. And yeah, I was just doing like light shadow boxing, and let me just play you this video.
Recording this video before the fight. Just right to get the job tomorrow, this time tomorrow. I'll have won my fight, inshallah. Let's fucking go.
And, you know, that right there, guys, was magic. You know, I'm literally sat in the middle of the octagon, meditating, visualizing how I'm going to celebrate. I didn't actually visualize the knockout, because with visualization, right, you're just meant to visualize the end goal. You're not meant to worry about how you're going to get there. So as long as I visualize the celebration and the jumping on top of the cage and going, like I played that in my head hundreds of times. Then when I was in the fight scenario, it was just natural that because of the preparation that I put in as well, and having God on my side, that he saw me through that and then gave me that end goal that I've been visualizing. So fast forward now to fight day, you know, I'm primed up, I'm ready to go. I actually see my opponent the night before in the lobby. You know, I looked him in the eyes, and I actually knew at that moment that I'd won the fight, because I was genuinely prepared to take his life if it came to it. Like the mindset I had going into the fight, right, was I'm going to kill you, and it's the referee's job to make sure that doesn't happen. And that was it, nothing else. Fight day comes around, I meet up with my brother Zach. When I get to the gym, there's about 200 people there, maybe 250, and about 30 to 40 people were there just for me, which was incredible. You know, I was so appreciative of everyone who turned out. Now, as we begin to train and warm up before my fight, let's say half an hour out, Zach notices my opponent who's on the other side of the gym and how good he looks. And yeah, I actually see Zach go up to one of the coaches and the referees and ask him how many fights. I didn't know what he said at the time, but obviously I was pretty certain. I could tell by his body language. He was like, you know, is this going to be a fair fight? He was looking a bit worried, because my opponent, right, had been training for over 3 years. He'd had a fight before. I don't know if it was in MMA. I think it was in kickboxing. He'd either had 1 or 2 fights, and he just was way better than me on the pads. But again, pads mean nothing. It's what you do and what you can turn up and do with on the day. While we're waiting to walk out, we're at the top of the runway, and I remember this. I'll never forget this. I look him in the eyes and I just say, "Are you ready?" And he goes, "Yes." And I went, "No, are you ready to die?" And that might sound a bit intense to some people, but when you're in that mode, nothing else matters. Like I said, it's my job to kill you, and it's the referee's job to make sure it doesn't happen. And that's the only 2 outcomes that are going to happen in this fight. So here we have the fight itself. Again, I'm at the top here with my opponent, and that's when I said the thing, I look him in his eyes and I'm like, "Yo, are you ready? Now I'm ready to die." Shout out Bailey for recording as well. Yeah, big shout out to Bailey for getting this footage. 50 Cent, Many Men for the walkout. We've got to do it. I'm looking like a beast. At this point as well, I'd not had a haircut for 4 months, because in my head I'm in kill mode. Like I said, I'm not trying to look pretty. I'm not trying to look nice. I'm trying to kill people. I'm looking jacked as well, which is pretty nice. Yeah, I was weighing about, I think the fight we were meant to weigh in at 81, but when the fight got announced 3 weeks before, I was just like, well, obviously I'm going to bulk up. So yeah, I bulked up to 83 kg. So I probably had maybe 1.5 kilos on my opponent, but yeah, listen to the boos. Shout out the boys. Wow. Here as well, I do a little lap of the octagon, and I just look him in his eyes and I say something again to him, it's time or something like that, just to let him know what's about to go down. And again, just before I kick this off, my opponent is way more experienced than me. He's way better skilled than me, so in no way am I even trying to say that I'm even a better fighter than him, but what it comes down to is who does it on the day. So, fight kicks off. I wanted to get damage done straight away, so I just hit him with a leg kick, and his leg kicks were very powerful, to be fair. You'll see here, he throws me off balance big time as I was rushing in. He ducked well there, to be fair. And yeah, that was sort of the start of the fight. This was the first little grappling exchange we had. I definitely felt stronger than him, but I think technique-wise, he was better than me on the grapple. You're going to see here when he trips me over, right? This is where I actually got a grade 3 tear in my ankle ligament. Right here, that right ankle there. I was on crutches after the fight. And yeah, he could have got the back there, but I reversed it, which was huge. And this sort of, he was trying to get me in a triangle here. He was never going to get it. Got a couple of nice shots off him in here. I actually gave him a little cut as well when I did that, which felt nice, man. And I was pretty comfortable in this position as well. I was, just doing my thing. He's obviously, in a really uncomfortable position here. So I just wanted to really keep applying the pressure to him, tire him out, make him carry my weight. And yeah, it meant that I had a good start to the first round, really. It built me up a lot of confidence. Tried to get the leg over there, as you saw, but he gets out. At this point here, get him here. I thought I had the choke. You'll see. But one thing I didn't want to do is tire my muscles out, so when I didn't have it, I just let go straight away. And then as we break, up, that would have landed. Night out.
All yours, bro.
Couple of haymakers coming in there. And you can see that I hit him twice, and you see him fall back. And at that moment, right, I saw in his eyes, when that second left hook connected, I saw it in his eyes. He was like, oh shit, what have I got myself into? The power's too much. And at that moment, that's when I knew the fight, because I looked at it, right, and I was thinking in my head, I've did him on the ground, obviously got him with the choke as well, and then at the end of the round, I've just rocked him. So, in all 3 aspects, I'm kind of up here, so I'm thinking in my head, right, let's go, let's get the knockout second round. Again, my cardio was impeccable, I wasn't tired at all. You'll see, shout out Zach there as well, you can see Zach. Yeah, and Carlos as well, man. And then if you look, I'm actually in the middle of the octagon ready to go. Look how far forward I am, I've got my hands up straight away, because I'm telling him, I'm letting him know that, look, you're in my ring, I'm ready to go. Now, I could have literally had a 10-second break and gone straight back into it, but yeah. So second round then, again, nice. Damage straight away. Again, I'm a lot more calm and composed in this round, because I know I've got it in the bag at this point. I'm taking my time, because I know as soon as I land that shot, he's done.
Go on, Lyndon.
again, he gets the trip, almost defended it well, and that was huge. If he tripped me there, it would have been bad. Couple cheeky shots on the back of the head right there. Again, I just take his hand off my leg, and at this point, you're going to see what goes down. Right's coming up, boom, rock clips me here, and I just think, you know what, boom! And that was all she wrote, baby, let's go. Absolute filthy KO, filthy KO. Let's just watch that back one more time. That was insane, man. I get so happy watching this, man. And I'm just glad to know the opponent was okay as well. But yeah, if we just bring it back from that exchange after we broke. I see right here, boom, big right, that rocked him, I mean, big time. You can see he goes a bit wobbly. And then he hits me with a shot there. I mean, the shot didn't even hurt at all. But like when he hit me with it, hit me with it clean. And in my head, I just thought, you know what? Fuck you. Fuck you. And the way that it hit me, right, my body turned back quite far. And my right hand's all the way back here because I'm kind of off balance. And I bring my right hand all the way back and just straight through his jaw. Let's watch this again. Look, he hits me there. And it kind of knocks me off balance. And now, like, my body's, like, really stood sideways. And I just think, you know what? I'm going to pull the right hand from the power of Allah. And just look at that. Look at that right hand, man. Look how far back I've cranked that up. Boom. And that is all she wrote. Thankfully, the cage was behind him to catch him, else that would have been bad. And yeah, then everyone goes wild. Doesn't get better than that, man. Does not get any better than that. Yeah, and kind of an over celebration, but I was pretty hyped, man. Everything that went on with the injury, the opponent being so much better than me, you know, and I did make sure he was all right after I calmed down. Yeah. That's about it. Man, I look like a beast on that, man. Can't wait to get out to the next fight. Cannot wait to have the next fight. Beautiful, beautiful moment, man. Beautiful moment. Oh, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. Right, back to it. What did I learn from that entire experience? Well, number one, if you put your trust into God and you are a clean-hearted person, He's always going to be there for you. Secondly, I can achieve anything with God and proper preparation. Always remember this, guys. 5 P's. Proper preparation prevents poor performance, and that right there is proof. To perform like a pro, you must practice like one. And fighting is the ultimate feeling. Nothing else comes close. The 2 greatest things that I've ever done in my life, one was becoming a Muslim, and that's first by a way, and second was the fight. And then everything else is so much further down. And yeah, I would just say that anyone who's interested in fighting, you need to go and do it, because you need to get that confidence. You need to also do it to become a G. I feel like, you know, if I was, let's say, you know, the ruler of somewhere, I'd make it mandatory that every single man, before he can marry a woman, has to have at least 1 fight at some sort of level. Because, you know, a man that's not willing to fight for his own sort of sake, how can he fight for his wife, his children? And I feel like it is, like I said at the beginning, it is one of the key pillars of masculinity. And that is it, guys. My final takeaway is you need to start fighting. And again, I can't reiterate this enough. You have to start fighting. Not only does the key fundamentals of fighting and the disciplines you learn translate into business and every other aspect of your life, again, just for that self-confidence, it just does you wonders. And like I said, apart from becoming a Muslim, it was the single greatest experience that I've ever had in my entire life. So, guys, please just start fighting. And again, you know, the way that I was able to even get into fighting this much and do that sort of routine was just because of like the role that I had. You know, I'm a high ticket closer, right? So it just meant that I could essentially work my hours around my training, which is what allowed me to then perform like this pro. So, you know, alongside if you're looking to get involved in the martial arts and you also need to actually become a G sort of financial wise, and you want to do something serious like fighting, you need to have a job or an income, should we say, that's going to allow you to work your fighting around it. And again, high ticket sales is the vehicle that I choose to do that. And if you want to learn more about that, again, check the description down below. I've got a whole platform where I teach you the full A to Z of how to get involved. But again, I'm not here to talk about that. Start fighting, boys. Let's go. over and out.